Roll call. Mr. Ruiz.
Present.
Mr. Chavez.
Present.
Mr. Vasquez.
Present.
Mr. Can. Ms. Vasquez.
Here.
Myself, Monica Milano. Mr. Navarro.
Present.
Mr. Sepulveda. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting, July 10th?
Make a motion to approve. I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. We don't have anything for communications or items for discussion with possible action. So we will move on to staff reports. And the first item, park improvement monies in the special fund account.
So if I may interrupt a little bit.
Yes.
Good afternoon. Let me ask, before we move on, my name is Mr. J.J. Gomez. I was named about 32 days, 6 hours and a half ago, acting director of Parks and Rec. Okay, I just want to introduce myself. I know some of you all, and I'm not with most of you all. I came on board. I began about a month ago. Anita and Gracie have been running the department and done a great job as far as, it's a big department. We got a full task at hand, and I'm glad to offer you everything you do. We're an important part of the community because Parks and Rec is the third biggest, not mistaken, ladies, the third biggest department in the city.
Yes, sir.
All right, so,
Sorry, Mike. Congratulations.
thank you, sir. Thank you. It's a big operation, but we're here to serve our community. One of the things that, as a quick background, I was a coach at United High School for 29 years, and I came to work for the city after 29 years, and I've been here for 3 years now. I was a unit superintendent of athletics at unit trade. I've been and worked with our department throughout the last 3 years. So one of the things that I've always has been my biggest pet peeve as far as running whether it be a team or running a department or running, is my thing. It's called the PAC. It's planning, accountability, and communication. And that's, to me, that's in my office, that's in my room, and that's where I have my hat on. So this is what the department is going to be run on. There's a lot of moving parts, and believe me, I'm seeing it in first hand now. But it's exciting, it's challenging. I love challenges, love it. You guys that know me, I've been coaching for 29 years, and there's nothing like coming up to bat with bases loaded and full count in 2 outs. And I think that's what this is every day. So I just want to introduce myself to you all, and looking forward to working with you all. There's a lot of stuff going on in our department, like I said, but we're here to make it better for all of you all, for your constituents, for the people you represent, for the council member you represent. And like I told my department, we're here to be part of the solution. There's not be part of the problem. And that's what we're here for. Okay, so just want to introduce myself and thank you for being here, and looking forward to working with you all right? Thank you.
Coach. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. Grace, you want to go and start with the staff reports on the first one?
Yeah, this is just, I guess to let the board know of some of the monies that we have in the special fund account that we collected from different developments, mainly park improvement fee. And what we will need to do is to present to council for appropriation of these monies and amend the budget so that we can allocate those monies for specific parks in their respective districts. I see that 2 of the developments there, Kimberly Subdivision and Shiloh Highland, are both in the District 6. And sometime back, those 2 were presented to council for appropriation of those monies, and Councilman Martinez.
Is there a handout we can follow along or?
Yes, that's staff reports.
Staff reports, sir? I don't know, the green tab?
Yes.
The green tab, that's,
No, people aren't great. Or dark green?
Dark green.
Oh, okay, oh, I have now.
Yeah, that,
Teal.
It's teal, that's why you couldn't find it.
okay, I'm sorry, okay. And so, as I was saying, the Kimberly and Shiloh, those two amounts were presented to council because Dr. Martinez wanted to make use of those monies for the Divine Mercy part. And so, that's probably, well, the other one that is in his district, I believe, is Monaco subdivision. And from there, from this list, we will have to present to council as well for the appropriation for the department to be able to use those monies in some additional improvements to some of the parks in their areas.
And they're not earmarked specifically to something other than the district?
They have to be used
mile.
within a mile and a half
Of,
from the subdivision that made the payment. And so that will be the closest park, the closest facility that is, within a mile and a half.
Madam Chair, if you don't mind, yesterday, you heard, I don't know if you heard the former county commissioner Velasquez say that he had put in $30,000 into North Central Park, and he didn't think that it was spent. Did you hear him make that comment?
Yes, we were, Gracie wasn't there, we were there.
You were there, did you see that? I don't know where, is he saying that
From the
that money
county.
was from the county
From the
that
county.
needs to be shifted over to the city?
Correct. So that's something the county has to, whatever process they have, so they can move it over to North Central Park. That's,
Yeah, because we're talking 10 years.
yeah,
It's been sitting there.
it's been sitting there, 31,000 and change.
Yeah. So, all right, well, I'm curious. as to
Yeah, so
how-
that's something
how
the
we're
counties
gonna
have to-
get that money.
Maybe we can follow up.
We'll follow up on it and see what the process is. I think
Yeah, exactly.
that's a good question.
It may be sitting in one of our city accounts. It's
It's
just rolling over and it's already earned
Yes, sir,
interest.
he donated 10% of his salary, that's where the 31,000 came from, back to North Central Park.
We'll definitely take a look at it. We'll follow up.
Okay. Any other questions?
What, the Lomas del Sur, the 101, where is that, where you intend to use that 101,000?
We have not specified, or we also, I think we would like to see what the Parks and Open Space Master Plan, when it's done, when it's completed, see what are the recommendations for that area.
Okay.
And so from there, we can, make a recommendation on where to use these monies.
We'll visit with each councilman and see where they can,
Exactly.
where they feel more appropriate for their money and where they want to go. Okay.
Here's no other questions, we'll move on to staff report number 2, Parks budget presentation.
Do you have anything for us? Okay, this is the budget that we presented back in late August to the city council members for appropriation. It's a pretty long, lengthy slide, but if we can just go to our go to the department overview, the third one. This is, if you see the FTEs, those are the full-time employees that we're looking in our department that we have, our divisions. If you have not heard, cemetery and construction got moved out of our department and will be moving over to public works. Okay, so the only thing we'll stay is maintenance. We're still not gonna have a maintenance. We're gonna work on grants management as well. We're going to specify for us to be looking for grants out there in Texas Wildlife, and also there's a lot of grants out there that so we're gonna start looking for just somebody in our department to go look out and apply for that money. But we're gonna need to finish a master plan first, and that's hopefully we'll finish by end of this month, ladies. Also the master plan, hopefully.
Yes.
That's right. So that way we can go out there and look for some grant money, correct? So, got the recreation, aquatics, unit trade, sports, Max Mandel's has always been under those special events. And then on the FTEs means full-time employees, how many full-time employees under each department? Right now, we don't have anybody for grants. We want to put one person there, look, that we want to work, one with grants and other stuff. Since we are losing construction, we are losing cemetery, we're losing a total of, out of those 22, we're only gonna keep 6 or 7 as maintenance. And we're not gonna construct parks anymore. All we're gonna do is, we're not in the business of constructing parks, we're there to work, but little by little we evolved, and all of a sudden we're out there making parks. And we're just supposed to be maintaining parks. That's what our personnel is supposed to be. We're not engineers, and our guys are great workers, and they're hard workers, they'll never tell you no. But we're trying, Public Works is gonna be doing that now for us, and we'll be maintaining. They build the park, we maintain it.
Who will be designing the park?
Excuse me?
Who will be designing the park?
We will, most of the time, we outsource an architecture to come design the parks.
Who will be supervising Public Works to make sure that they're following all of the plans?
That will be, we will coordinate with John Osfila, myself, and with Gracie as well, that we make sure that we follow the specific plan. Then the plans are good, then we gotta go through, get it clear that they meet our standards and what we're looking for. Yes, ma'am. Okay, cemetery, all employees that's completed division, is going to with utility. I'm sorry, Public Works. You wanna go to the proposed budget that we have, or let's go to the second one, number 5. Slide number 5. Okay, on slide number, we have a $60 million budget, okay? We broke it down into the parks and rec side. On the park side, which we included cemetery still in there, it's $9 million towards the park side and $6 million towards the recreation side. The percent values didn't come out because of, I guess it's the format with the computers come out. But a lot of, most of it goes towards our employees, towards salaries, okay? Construction, maintenance, and all that, but most of it all goes towards our employees that we have in our department. Okay, go to number 7. We'll go to 6. We can just take a look at unit rate on our division. That's the amount we have for unit trade. Our budget for unit trade, $863,354. And again, I know the percent didn't come out, but a lot of it. Now that we have a turf, we don't have as much maintenance, but that building it's always, being on first time there, it's always breaking. Something's always going on in that stadium, so we're always trying to first that thing.
Quick question,
Sure.
Chair Verme and Mr. Gomez. For future investments into unit trade, discretionary funds are not allowed for, right, if I'm not mistaken. So does the department have to a budget for that, or where is the funding?
The
that
sports
is being
venue
from?
tax.
From the sports venue tax?
Even
Even though it's being thrown there?
Yeah, no, the sports venue tax, sorry. The sports venue tax is gonna be covering, anything that comes out of unit trade, that comes out of the sports venue tax. Nothing, they don't touch our budget, our parks budget, if I answered your question.
Yes.
So then what does 863,000 represent? What you're taking from sports venue?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, sir. From the sports venue, that's what we're taking from. It doesn't affect, those 16 million that you saw is not part of those 850, 863.
Okay.
Correct.
So am I reading this correct? Unit trade brings in 5.6 million,
Um,
but you still need to take 863 out of sports.
no,
venue?
5,600.
5,600.
5,600. We read it,
Oh.
there's an ordinance.
Very impressed.
No, there's an ordinance.
I see
I'm looking for that number.
the industry is making all this
We rent them out,
Okay.
Chairman, we rent them out for high school games, high school playoff games, colleges that want to use it. So there's an ordinance that we charge $1,800, $1,600, I'm sorry.
18.
$1,800 that we charge for if they want to come use it. And being that it's turf now, we have a lot of interest now because we don't have to worry about rain or anything like that. They know there's going to be a place. So it's little by little, it's going to start bringing in more revenue for us. And now, I'll cover here just a minute, there's going to be more events going on, and not just baseball games. There's going to be concerts, there's going to be all this stuff that you'll see here in the next items that come up with it.
What's the orange, what's the green, and what's the red?
It was contractual services,
Contractual services
or was that
Personnel. and contractual services, personnel, and
Materials and
materials and
materials.
supplies?
Materials and supplies. And I have my
What are contractual?
Let's say, for example, the air conditioning unit breaks down. It's a big deal. Then we have to call train air conditioning or
That's the fund that it's used to pay for those contracts. The green is the salaries, it's personnel, the yellow is construction, and then materials and supplies, the red, it's like another account, so to speak, that can be used for.
There's FTEs there, unit trade, like full-time employees?
Yes.
Yes, we have 6 full-time employees there. 6 full-time employees.
To clarify, I guess, if you're looking at contractual services, anytime you hire somebody to do something, you're
Fix them.
contracting them.
But that's different than maintenance?
No, ma'am. If you, Southern Sanitation, you're contracting them to take the trash, that's $500 a month.
Okay.
And so you're.
You don't put that under maintenance, you would put that under
A
contractual.
contractual, because you're hiring, so if you hire a company to do something,
Okay.
that's contractual services. If you're buying something to fix something where staff is actually taking care of it, that's materials and supplies. If you're buying
There it is.
for air conditioning.
There you go.
To fix the air conditioning system.
There's a percentage, man. There's personnel, contractual services, and then materials, supplies, and all that.
This budget presentation was formatted for the computer system downstairs in the council chambers. And so apparently these two are not compatible. This one's not as updated as the one downstairs, hence the reason that.
And I was afraid that would happen during the presentation, so we were able to.
Right.
How does it work to access the quarter cent tax? I mean, you budget, they budget it, but let's say you go over budget, specifically at Unitrade. Do you go to city council and request, or, you hit your budget?
We have to go to city council, to city managers to request money to be, if we happen to go over that amount. For example, we put the turf, it was 1.2 million.
Correct.
We put brand new lights, which was close to 500,000. So just in this past year, we spent $1.7 million there at Unitrade. So that came out of the sports venue. We had to go through council, that got approved, and they pulled 1.7 out of the sports venue tax.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, sir. Okay, go to the slide number 7. These are our inventory of parks that we have, and 67 parks, 58 baseball fields, as you can see there, 30 soccer fields, tennis courts, one water parks, this is the Mercy, the stadium, the nursery, the cemetery is still included there, and we're also overlooking the Max Mandel golf as well. So it's we're pretty keep growing. We keep growing, and that's good. So we got 7 new FTEs. We were approved for 7 FTE full-time employees more with the current that we have. So we're some departments didn't get any, so we were able to get 7 of them. We were requesting 22, something like that. 29. And they'll back in your bags, and then when Christmas comes in December, you can do a wishes all you want, but we got 7 full-time employees out of the 29.
We lost that much work too.
Okay, go ahead and go to the the maintenance division. Just so you can have an idea, I'll let you, just so you can have an idea, we currently have, there's 958 total acres that we cover from all the parks, fields and everything. We have a total of 70 employees, which averages to 13.7 acres for one employee. Okay? And NRPA, which is the National Recreation Parks Association, recommends that there's supposed to be 1 employee for every 8 acres. And that's in the perfect world.
But if you took the undeveloped acres out,
Okay.
you would.
I think we did that. We see wasn't it?
Yeah, but in many cases, Mr. Navarro, even though they're not developed, we sometimes have to go there and just to keep cutting the areas, even though it's not like the maintenance of picking up trash or, but we have to mow.
Well, that's public work. I'm a maintenance.
So, that- just to kind of give you all an idea of, what our guys go through, what we have to do, and then they'll never say no, they'll get out there and do their job, and I'm really proud of them. Go ahead and go to the rec center. Okay, there's our rec centers, all the activities that we have there, scheduled, that we offer. We offer tennis for the blind actually on the market, right? At the market?
No.
North
At
Central,
North Central?
at the rec center.
I actually know the guy that does it. So
Yes.
these are activities that we offer there at the rec center. We're working on opening them, working on getting some more activities at the rec center in Tijuana.
And these are year-round activities, or does it include summer and some year-round?
They're mainly year-round,
The majority of these are year-round. We do additional programs during the summer, but these are the ones that we carry year-round. We didn't include, you'll see on the bottom, the summer program registrations, the summer programs. Those are numbers specific to the summer program.
Where do you have art?
We have art at Haynes Recreation Center. Joe Rico is one of our instructors. And we've got a class at Hillside. And that just depends on whether the instructor is available. A lot of our instructors are...
Volunteer?
No,
No,
they get paid for it, but they're teachers at the magnet school. And so we are at their mercy based on what is their schedule, how many classes do they have. And so, right, so sometimes we end up getting to do art classes only during the summer when they are available. So,
if I called the Parks Department and I said, and whoever answered, and I said, are there any art classes available going on now? Would the person who answers the phone be able to direct me to the proper person? Would they know? Is it on the website? Like, how do I find out more about each individual project? Citywide.
Okay, there's two parts to that question, so I'll answer the second one. The second one, the website is actually going to be up running in the next 2 weeks. The next 2 weeks, website is going to have everything that you're just asking them.
That's good, because I was just gonna say, like all of this, I lived in Laredo all my life and I didn't even know we had all of that.
Right,
Like, how do you get the word out to the public,
right.
you know?
So that's what we're gonna website. We have to do also a better job of getting out there, the information with the public information officer. And look, this is what's going on. I know we have social media as well. We don't want to get it out there as well. But now with this new website, that everything, you can even donate a tree, you can even donate a bench. You're gonna be able to register online for Aquatics. Hopefully we want to get that as well. So we're gonna finally get up to par here in the next couple of weeks and
So there, on the website, there will be an option to search for activity, and then we'll spit out, this is at Hillside, and this is at Haynes.
yes, ma'am.
Is there a
Yes.
way to search by age?
We're gonna have different mechanisms that they are inputting, and we're at the last phases of the design process right now. And he's got the skeleton, if you will. And so now we're just incorporating, like as Coach mentioned, on the donating side. You'll be able to kick in, we as a department will identify North Central Park. What do we need here? Okay, we need 6 benches, so we'll have a 3D layout of the park itself, and the department will identify what is needed. So you're gonna click on there, I wanna donate at North Central Park, what do they need there? Click on that, and it's gonna show you a map and what is needed and where it is to go. So if you desire to do that, you would, kind of like a wedding registry, if you will.
Yeah, I remember us talking about that, and I'm really excited to hear that's going up.
Yes.
Yes.
We've had a lot of comments about when is it gonna website. We get calls at every office. Hey, we had a phone call about swimming, aquatics, and, we gotta pay cash, and all that stuff is gonna, hopefully,
I would
we're gonna be
say,
up to par.
for me, as many search engines as possible would be really helpful, to be able to
Okay.
search by age, to be able to search by activity, to be able to search by radius, what's happening 5 miles from where I am. those would be really helpful because there are so many programs and it'd be nice to be able to just sort through them quickly.
So, sure, we'll meet that, when we meet with our
Who's going to
design.
be updating the website? Because you said, for example, the art teacher, you know, you get these professors when they're free. So who's in charge of updating in real time if a professor can no longer do art?
It will be on staff. It is that easy. We wanted to make sure it was so user-friendly that our staff person can do it, not having the ability to actually code or create a website.
Okay.
A layperson can come in and make the changes. It's that easy. It will be that easy for staff to come in and do. We're going to have different approval areas, if you will, and so different accessibility for different staff members. Some people can, rec centers can do their own changes if they want, and if it's a little bit deeper, then there's like maybe only one person who can do the deeper change. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Okay.
Have those people been identified yet?
Partially, yes. Yes, for the most part, it's the supervisors.
Okay.
And so, and on the other side, the rec center is actual getting in there and changing the numbers or what have you in the finance area. It'll be our administration.
Okay.
Would it be like, let's say, under basketball league, would you have adult, child, league, different
Right, Spurs League.
Categories, so
category?
Divisions,
Yes.
Spurs League, youth leagues, all that. Now, we're excited about it, that's gonna help us tremendously and
And the
answer
events
as well. And the events, as well. We got movies in the park, we have a basketball tournament coming up, we have a swim meet coming up, so everything will be advertised as well there. So. There's the aquatics division. Our activities that we have the water aerobics, lap swimming, learn to swim. Just FYI, I guess we, Councilman Bali and Councilman Torres have passed for us to look into buying a cover, a dome, if you will, an inflatable dome for the cold months that we have here, because we have a lot of people that do indoor swimming, even though they're heated pools, but we had some triathletes, and that they even go up into Laredo to go train, because the water is so, not that it gets cold out here, but whenever we do. So we're looking into, we found a dome we're gonna be putting on inner city pool. Inner city pool will be covered with a bubble. It's heated, so rain, whatever weather it is, it's gonna be covered for about 3 months or so. And then it takes off, collapses, put it away, and then we go back and put it again. And it's about $70,000.
Like a portable.
A portable, it's like a moonwalk, it's gonna be like a moonwalk, if you will, just to have an idea how it looks. So.
And you said that's gonna be for, to do what?
Inner city pool.
No, I understand, but, so when it's cold out and you're. Weather permitting.
It's always gonna be up for those 3 months, November, December, January.
It'll be a heated pool.
It's something that heated.
Yeah, I know, it's heated right now.
The
It's
room
heated
will
right
be heated.
The room will be heated, so they can get out and go into the locker rooms and then come back out and
Yes.
without having to be in the cold.
Nope.
I got you.
Yep. Got it. And I don't have a picture with me, but next time I'll show it to you how it's gonna look.
Oh, wait, so it's like a bubble?
Yes.
It's not just a roof and a inflatable?
It's not over the pool, it's between the locker room door and the.
No, it's over the pool.
It is over the pool.
It's
over the pool.
It's like a bubble boy
Technically,
situation?
Right, Laredo was part of that.
Is it
I know, but if you're in the
covered?
water swimming, it doesn't bother you. It's when you get out and you're walking from the pool to the locker room and it's freezing cold, that's when you have a problem.
Well, you've got approximately 7 feet on all sides. You
can
can get out of the pool, you're in the warm,
Get the room.
you go to the bleachers, you dry off, change, you open the door, you're dry.
Okay.
You know how
7 feet got.
You know how the universities have those practice fields and they have that big old bubble or
Yeah.
for practice with the That's exactly what it is. Exactly what it is. For the indoor, they can practice in the outside. I'll show you a picture in our next meeting or maybe we'll email you all the pictures.
And will that pool still, I guess it follows the complicated heating schedule where the heaters turn on in the morning, so it's warm in the afternoon for the elderly, but in the morning it's cold?
No, it maintains the same temperature.
That is a temperature of the room itself,
Okay.
and so that's gonna be a constant. The water is a situation that we do fluctuate a little bit, morning to evening. Morning, they like it warmer, because it's our seniors. Evening is our teens, and they like it cooler. And so we have had to come up to a medium temperature to ensure that it's still safe for high cardio, but also still safe for our seniors.
Is the Boys Club pool used year-round?
The Boys Club pool.
I don't know about
I
that.
don't know about that one's now.
The main,
Oh, it's not ours?
at main Worcester, that's our, that's privately owned by the dark. Yes, sir. Okay.
Let's go ahead.
Just, our construction division, this is what they do. They do a little bit of everything, batting cages to put benches and dig irrigation and all that. These were the completed projects this past fiscal year, total of $4.6 million.
Did they ever finish the one that went on for about 3 or 4 years? Que-
The Divine Mercy Lazy River?
Yeah, fixed all that one.
Sisters and
Sisters of Mercy, I'm sorry. Sisters of Mercy? Yes. Yes, it's right here.
It's beautiful.
It's actually on the first, on the
That was
cover.
our first slide.
So this was,
And is that open,
that's
or are all
fine.
the pools closed now except Inner City?
I heard it's real skinny.
There's three pools that are open, North Central, Inner City, and on weekends only. On weekends only.
But Inner City is open during the week as well?
Yeah, yes.
So Inner City is the one pool that's open year-round, every day?
Well, yes, because,
Not on Fridays.
no, Monday through Thursday. Monday through Thursday,
And
we
then
have
summer they'll go to Tuesday and Friday.
Tuesday and Friday.
Which is the pool that is open
It's those are the three that are open.
the whole week?
Oh, you want the whole week?
Is
There is no
that
pool that's open 7 days a week.
Okay.
During the summer, they're closed on Mondays. During the winter, they're closed on Fridays. They open Monday through Thursday.
Right.
Why is there that switch? Why isn't the schedule more standardized? Like, every pool is closed throughout the city Mondays for chemicals? Or, I mean, why does it switch from summer to winter, trying to remember which day is which?
That's been there for a while. It's been going on for a while.
I'm gonna need to research that. It's been like that for as far as I can remember. And I don't know what the reasoning behind that is. I just know that that has been what it, what the practice has been. And so current management, when we had staff come in, they just upheld because that was what the norm has been for so
But
long.
that's a good point.
Yeah, I'll definitely have an answer for you
That way we
next
know
time.
the whole year is open only on, closed on
Yeah, I
Monday.
mean, whenever there's a chance to standardize the schedule, I would be all for that, because I know you guys know the schedule like the back of your hand, but when people are coming in, I mean, I'm trying to figure out what to do with my kids, and I'm trying to look at the schedule. I know the schedule's changed because we're in these months, and it's only open on the weekend. It's hard for me to remember, and to always remember that I have to check before I leave the house, and so oftentimes I just don't do this stuff. So, yeah.
Sure. Okay, we'll find that out and we can maybe keep it uniform. Keep it uniform.
Whenever possible.
Sure. Okay,
How about the Civic Center pool? That doesn't belong.
doesn't belong to LIZ.
No, sir.
LIZ.
Really?
They bought it up. Upcoming events, upcoming projects, I'm sorry. We put the two main ones kind of in each district that we're gonna be working on streeting on this year. There's, the big one is, we got a big skate park coming up in North Central Park in John Ball's area, over there on the north end, right behind the basketball courts. And then the big monster is gonna be this one right here. That's a sports complex that we've already been meeting. I am part of the board, of the advisory board, to look into the design and construction of that thing. We're looking at towards the Cuatro Vientos Road, over there south, just across the highway off of LBJ. Looking at around 4 clovers, which is, in every clover there's about 4 fields, so that's 16 fields. 5 soccer fields, 4 volleyball courts. And we still have another 60 to 75 acres to expand. Whether it be tennis courts, swimming pools, or whatever we want to add to that in the long run, so.
Are there plans to put an indoor Olympic-sized swimming pool that's open year-round in the sports complex?
That is part of the expansion that they want to do. Not as big, but they want to do an indoor pool. And that will also come from the sports venue tax, that's not us.
But not a big pool, not a competition pool.
Competition pool being is 25 meters, anything that's 25 meters is considered a competition pool.
So you guys would not do a 50-meter pool?
Something we can bring up to the, whenever we, that's more to the phase 2 of the sports complex.
And the activities, what is indoors?
In the sports complex,
Mhm.
not everything's outdoors. Everything's outdoors. On phase 1.
Are there plans to put things indoors? I mean, it's so hot here.
Phase
Why are not more things? put
phase 2
indoors?
is looking into building and I guess I'm gonna get ahead of myself,
I mean, because we have baseball fields, and we have these things, soccer fields,
Not enough.
other parts of the town.
right,
And maybe we need more, but we do have some.
right.
We don't have a lot of indoor facility. We don't have an indoor
Right.
soccer facility. We don't have an indoor
So,
tennis, like these things that would be available year round.
right, one of the things that on phase 2 is they actually want to do the Parks and Rec office we finally hopefully get a home there with indoor facilities inside, like you're talking about. It may be a possible pool, tennis courts, handball, racquetball, but the office is upstairs of the indoor facility on phase 2. That's I don't know how long, but that is in the long term, on the phase 2, to make offices and indoor facilities in there. A pool, like you're talking about, and some
Who's
courts.
designing this?
Well, we just closed on the land, just finalized the land, so now it's gonna go out for RFQs to see who will design. And then there's gonna be input of the committee, a committee that's gonna be, put it together to approve it and what they wanna put in and all that.
Coach, have you seen the plans over there in Franklin, Texas?
No, so, to answer your question, we're gonna, in October, this coming month, we're gonna make a round of about 4 different sites. Round Rock, of course, is the capital of youth sports, we don't have to tell you all that. I'm a Round Rock guy, as you all know. Round Rock, we're gonna go to Cedar Hill, near Dallas. They have also, Portland, Texas has one, and Far, Texas also has one as well. The Mission Far area also has one as well.
These are indoor complexes?
No, these are all
Baseball.
outdoor softball, baseball, tennis, soccer complexes.
I didn't get a chance, I might want to go
I
to
have to
Franklin,
say,
Texas.
I'm very disappointed that more indoor facilities are not being planned up front. It is so hot here all year, and then in the winter time, it's cold, so then nobody wants to be outside for the few months that it's a little rainy. I mean, it's very difficult for me as a parent to want to sit outside in 100+ degree weather in the evening to watch a child do a sport that they could do indoors at other parts of the year. So, I mean, I would just say as a member of this board and as somebody who would like to use these facilities as an adult and as a parent, I would really, really like there to be more indoor
Sure.
stuff.
And if I can, once we start getting closer to, the park board would like to see the design, and y'all can more than glad to, get your comments, man, like that, and so we.
I think what needs to be done is, your idea needs to be put on the comprehensive plan. That way it's always there. That way they can continuously keep that in mind, and when funding comes up, they can apply it towards an indoor facility and stuff like that. Because if it never gets put on the comprehensive plan,
Right.
it'll never be online for any kind of bond money or anything.
Is it something that the master plan has to recommend?
You get, I don't know the process, I think it goes to the staff will turn around and tell the council, then council puts it on, or the city manager, and city manager puts it on the comprehensive plan. So it's there, and it
Like
stays
a
there.
reminder?
I mean, I
Kind of a
say this
reminder, but
almost every meeting. I think it's really shocking that Laredo does not have an indoor pool, 50-meter pool that's available year-round. I mean, every other community I've ever lived in has one, whether it's a small city or a big city. So, I mean, and it's so hot here. It's just so hot. And we want our kids to be able to do activities year-round. And I don't understand why we don't have
Well,
an indoor 50-meter pool.
And I support what you're saying, but like, for example, baseball fields, this project has been on the books for
here.
How many years? Years.
My son was little and we were waiting to be able to use one of the fields.
Right.
He's in college already.
So this was on the,
So,
like
it's been a while.
comprehensive plan to put, so, you know, we have to put an indoor facility for swimming on the comprehensive plan, so they constantly are looking, because you never know, because there could be a grant out there for us, a pool that these guys run into, and it's on the comprehensive plan, they can say, let's start by getting the money for engineering designs, land purchase, and then it, you know, you're getting closer to what you need done, but if it doesn't get put on there, I mean, you'll be saying that year after year, you know. It's just something that we need to get it on the comprehensive plan.
Okay, we'll follow procedure so we can put that in now.
And there'll be a separate committee to oversee the complex? Or?
Yes, from my understanding, yes. They're gonna bring some private citizens, businessmen, you know, just different types of people to come and have their inputs on the complex.
Was the city involved with the Pony League World Series?
Yes.
How many visitors or teams did we get?
This one or this last, the previous year?
I was on this past one.
Okay, so this past one, there was an 18U, and then there was a 12U. In each division, there were 10 teams. Okay, from all of, this is a true World Series from all over the world.
Right.
Okay? It was, as far as how many people had the beds, I will not be able to tell you that exact number, something CVB will probably can tell you that, and I'll get that information for you, but, Laredo was really well represented, we're promoted out from all over the world.
Well, that's good. I'm not trying to get ESPN for next year. This year I got involved with the Little League. That's all I was watching the World Series.
And they want to make some kind, maybe with possible Fox
You know,
for next year. We got one more year with them.
because I mean, they were showing everything in the Little League for 2 weeks.
Right. Yes, so hopefully something to consider. All right, our website, here's an example of our website there. This is what this somehow our webpage will look like once it gets coming to hopefully the end of this month.
Is that the new logo?
Yes, this is the new logo for Parks and Rec. Special events, there were 61 total events here to the date on our fiscal year, not including September on, but up to August is how many total events we had, from everything from bull runs to marathons to tree planting, bike and rides, so everything that you can possibly think of, that's what events that we've had so far. Outdoor events, these are that Miss Fanny and here we have here Miss Davila here, that we have our upcoming concerts on September 28th, our first concert at North Central Park, and she'll elaborate here on that in just a minute. October 12th, we're trying to spread it out throughout the city, different parts of the city, so we can have different concerts and you know, just throw a blanket. Like, of course, we want to keep it when it's cool, not on the hot summer days. Kite festivals and rugby. We're running rugby for the first time. Is that correct?
Correct.
We're running rugby for the first time. We got our certified arch to teach archery now.
Yes, sir.
Right. Kayaking as well. So those are, we're moving. We're expanding and hopefully making it better. Thanks for everyone's help. Our cemetery. We put that in there for budget, but as you know, we're not going to be it's not going to be our department anymore. So for a city cemetery. We have a horticulture and forestry division led by Mr. Berman Rivera. He's been a great asset to our department. We have a big event coming up in November 23rd for with 200 trees, I think, going to be planted in North Central Park. He's coordinated that with that. We have solar over here in South Laredo, the bird nature. So he's really, you know, overlooking the department. It's not like, okay, go cut the grass and go knock trees down. You've got to preserve the environment, make sure we know what we're doing, make sure there's a plan. And he does a great job of
Does the Conseco house fall under?
That's under his, sir. That's under him, and he's working on it.
I mean, it's a fall under park and recreation.
Yes, sir. Yes, yeah. That's under.
I was looking at the picture there.
Yes, he's under Conseco, and he's it's coming on. It's coming a long way. So he's overlooks that as well. Our leagues is what we have for leagues are leagues that we sponsor that are sponsored by themselves, and then these are leagues that are city sponsored. So some, for example, baseball, men's softball, and the women's that's run by our department. We have coordinators that run that. Soccer leagues, but we have coordinators that run that, but it comes to our department. These are all up here sports leagues, and they're your ponies, your little leagues, your hillside, northwest little leagues that have that on their own. So we overlook them as well. So, our tennis summer camps that we have are in Haynes and Market, different instructors that we've had. We talked about different instructors. I don't know which colleges, of course, like United. So he does that in the summers and does camps there at United on behalf of the city. Some are free lessons as well there at our Market tennis courts. This is what we requested. This was our wish list of 39 full-time employees. But again, we ended up with 7, and so we got something. You know, I know we were swinging for the fences, but we were able to get.
Ask for the moon.
Ask for the moon. And we got something.
Which employees are you filling? Did you get a plumber?
We are, the way it works, man, they give us 7 full-time employees, then we will figure out, okay, you know what, we need a plumber. We need a plumber, because that's those, believe me, that's one of the main things we need. We need a plumber. We need a, we always need groundskeepers, of course, but we need a plumber. We need what was it?
Electrician.
An electrician, yeah, so, and then, so we gotta figure out what those 7 full-time employees, how we want to manage them, or what kind of positions we're gonna need, so. We're gonna look at that's what we're working on today, what our needs are, and request those, where we're gonna put positions on. This was our wish list for equipment. We were able to get 6 lawnmowers, riding our lawnmowers. We got those, along with one F-250 4-door crew cab. We got the gators. We got 6 gators because those are always being used at the parks. We got a backhoe, an actual backhoe of where did that go?
What is a gator?
Those utilities, those little utilities.
The green.
Okay.
Put stuff in the back.
We can carry stuff in the back. So we also got a backhoe and we got 6 riding mowers as well. So those things are used constantly, and they take their hours are.
Is this include the equipment at the max?
The max has their own budget. You know, we help them as far as they need anything, they come and ask us whenever we can help them with. But it's run by a separate management company, Landscape Unlimited. But it's still part of the city, it's owned by the city. So anything that we can help them with, we'd be more than glad to go help them out with. If something breaks down at the clubhouse,
They all have to come through you.
they have to come to it, yeah, and be more than glad to. I'm a golfer myself, so I want to get out there and enjoy a round over there myself, so. Okay, and then, this is what we asked for, pretty much what we asked at the end. 35,000 operational, those 35,000 include money that, for parts that we have already, just to upkeep them, so 35,000. Capital outlay needs all the equipment that I just showed you right now, but we ended up getting the gators, the lawnmowers, and then to ask 39 FTEs, but we got 7. So that's basically the presentation that we presented to the city council and to city managers, and there's our thank you slide. So we had 15 minutes after everything I did all this. I had 15-20 minutes, and so we were up there. It was a long week, but Gracie and Anita eventually, when I came on board, they had it pretty much 75% done. I want to thank them because they already got everything together, and I just kind of came in and threw my 2 cents worth, but we all put it together, and you know, they were really impressed with everything. So they did a great job in doing it.
Good work.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Any questions on it? We're good.
Great job.
Thank you. Here, you want to say that? I want to delete that thing. Okay. All right, we'll go to the next item. Any questions before we go?
One quick question.
Yes, sir.
This is on the baseball.
Mm-hmm.
For the adult league,
Okay.
I go out there all the time because my son plays there, but the bathrooms are always closed. They always close it like an hour before
Okay.
they turn off the light. So I just wanted to see who I can talk to.
That's
because-
Slaughter?
No, yes, Slaughter, yes, sir.
Will you write that down for me, please? The ones, Jerry, the ones between the baseball and the soccer field?
Yes, sir.
Those restrooms right there?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So the first time I said, somebody made a mistake.
No, and they use weekly, they're used every day.
Okay.
So, I mean, the field is used every day, so we gotta make sure we open those things. We gotta make sure we close it, because, we had a lot of people homeless and all that go on. We had trouble with that before.
Yeah.
So we just gotta make it a routine that we go and we close it.
That's right.
All right, number 3, I'll go over that. As you can see there, here in your next, I was talking about unit trade, a Master Shield Light portable flooring system is in the process. That is for the carrier. Did you have it, right? So there's a picture of that. That is for unit trade. It costs us $355,000, a little bit over $355,000. And that is to have multiple events at unit trade. Our next big one is coming up on the concert. There's a middle night concert coming up in October. We're shooting to get the cover so we can be able to hold big concerts without damaging the 1.3 million floor. Because we put a lot of money and investment in that thing, and we gotta take care of that. Well, last year we had a big concert there called Waterfest, and after that concert, it looked like a hurricane went right through there. But so now we're gonna protect our investment. We gotta put this cover. This is similar cover that Minute Maid has, with the New England Patriots have, that they can hold, because that was one of the directives that council did, or it was to the public that unit trade with the turf will be able to use for multi-purpose reasons. So they want to have Zumba, a big Zumba event there. They want to have triathlons there, weightlifting stuff going on there. They can have whatever they want, as long as we put that cover, they can have whatever we want. So we want to make use of that multi-purpose. It's a beautiful stadium, and I think we need to put it to use, year-round, not just for the Tecolote display or high school game. FYI, Anita and I, when we designed it, it was, believe me, that was a $1.3 million job that we were like this because we didn't want to mess it up. But the outfield, we call them tick marks. There's tick marks to have a football field there, and there's also tick marks to have soccer field there. So anytime they want to come soccer, we already got approached by two leagues, Mexican leagues, America, and so they want to come play over here. So in the outfield, we already have measured. They call them tick marks, and all we do, we just connect the dots with a water soluble paint, and we got a soccer field. We want to play flag. We want to have United Resort Alexander there. Let's go. We'll play with them. We just connect the tick dots, and we have a football field in the outfield.
So this has already been bought, though?
Yes, sir. Yes, this cover it. Well, we're pushing. We just got the PO, but hopefully we push it for the October the 18th concert. If there,
I don't think the price was only good till September the 18th.
no, hurry up. It's no, you're right, because we're on a timetable. So yeah, no, it already passed the PO. We already contacted the vendors, and it's on the move because we want to get this for October the 18th. If for some reason they got October 18th, then we're gonna have the concert outside. We're not gonna have the concert inside. Okay. All right, I think that's for the flooring. Anita, you want to go over the tennis courts complex? I know you've been working on that.
Yes. As you all may remember, back in 2014, there was initial discussion with regard to a sports complex in the city of Laredo that was to be held at Texas A&M International University. And so there was discussion back and forth with regard to space needed to accommodate all these outdoor sports. And so TAMU was a little bit concerned based on the number of acreage that was being requested. So they pulled back a little bit, and at the end of the day, what stayed was the tennis sports complex. And so we went to council in July of this past year to confirm that this is exactly what council wanted us to do, continue the MOU, which is a memorandum of understanding with the university system, to ensure that we were headed in the right direction. And so they gave us their blessing, and so we continued our talks with the university system. And we have a final site plan already designed. We're working on the minor details with regard to the actual program room facility. And so we're looking at having a tennis complex in about a year and a half, open doors. So the cost of $6 million, also funded through the Sports Venue Fund. And it's being designed by Frank Architects in conjunction with input from United States Tennis Association, Laredo Tennis Association, and the City of Laredo. So we're moving ahead. I just wanted to keep you all
It
updated.
should be done in how long?
A year and a half,
Year and a half.
18 months.
What will the agreement be? They will take care of it?
We have an MOU. There will be a committee incorporated as directed from the MOU, and they are to manage it. The city and university both have joint use of the facility, but they are to manage the day-to-day operations, and then any capital improvements, just depending on what the item is that needs to be repaired or what have you. And that's way further down the road. I mean, you know, a year and a half, it's going to be new for 6 to 10 years before you're actually going to need anything, you know, substantial.
So it'll be 18 tennis courts.
Yes, sir. 18 tennis courts with a clubhouse, shade structures throughout the complex, green space, 135 parking spaces, with the ability to use, of course, the parking across the street. One of the main reasons for this is because the university also wanted to get into tennis competition, exactly, through the collegiate level.
Yep.
And the city wanted to attract more tournaments. And what we needed was a complex that had more facilities in one place, or at least not so far apart.
You know, like district championship or something.
Exactly. Right now you have Market, you've got Nixon, you've got, you know, Haynes. And so we don't have any one facility that has the number of facilities, tennis courts, that you need, as well as showers, because that's also, and strangely enough, that's also a requirement. In order for some of these tournaments, you have to have restroom facilities, showers, individual locker rooms, and so we met all of those requirements.
That would be great for Border Olympics.
Actually, I wouldn't know. I
Yep.
agree.
So we're excited about that.
For Olympic to spread all over the city, so. Any? Good, okay. Divine Mercy basketball court donation, which is, Anita and I have been working with Mr. Gutierrez for a while now, I can imagine, right? So you want
Yes,
to
sir.
go ahead and take that as well, Anita, to the committee?
We were approached by Beto Gutierrez several months ago, actually shortly after Dr. Marta Martinez came on board. He had been reaching out to the city in an attempt to contribute, give back to his community. He walked North Central Park frequently, and he wanted to do some type of development there. And Mr. Gutierrez, as you all may know, is the former owner of Armadillo. He sold his company within the last year, if I'm not mistaken. And so he was set on adding some type of functionality, some type of additional sporting activities for children. And so we started meetings and to determine exactly what he had in mind. And, you know, thinking it was going to be not really knowing, but knowing that he wanted to add something. And so after our initial conversations with him, it was really very heartwarming, if you will, and to see exactly why he wants to do this. He said Laredo has always been very good to him, and he wanted to give back to his community. He enjoys that park, he sees how many people use that park, and he just wants to spread out the amenities as best as he can and to assist. And so he also wanted to stir up the pot and hope that his contribution would in fact encourage other people to perhaps do the same. Yeah, start a trend. So at the end of the day, he's going to be donating just under $300,000 for a sports court that's going to be at the western side of North Central Park by Divine Mercy, Sisters of Divine Mercy, but it's Divine Mercy. So the field the basketball court would hold, it's an all sports floor, so it's going to be your regulation size basketball court with shade, lights, and an all sports floor, which is shock absorbed. It has the ability for shock absorption and allows kids to play basketball, foursquare, hopscotch, volleyball. It's got lines for all of these different sports. And so then he emailed us after that and said, and we need restrooms too. And we need a fence. So he's adding more and more. And so it's very heartwarming to have conversations like that with people in the city that just want to give and wanting nothing in return, just wants to help expand because he sees our youth and he wants to give them a place to recreate. So we're working on that and hopefully we'll have that completed before the end of this year.
Great.
That's what we're shooting for.
Well, we're talking, about children. Do we have any handicap playgrounds for children in Laredo?
Yes, sir.
Because I saw on a TV program, it's just, so it says, I wonder if Laredo has to.
Just as we call it North Central West, but as you all know, North Central Park is going to hopefully be connected eventually through the south end, go underneath McPherson, through the Shiloh trails, turn north, back up towards Divine Mercy to connect this park that we're just talking about. All that's going to be North Central Park West, I guess you want to call it. That's phase, I don't know if it's 2 or 3, one of those. But eventually it's going to go underneath McPherson, right there by Pollo Palenque or Palenque Pollo, whatever, through there, connected to the Shiloh trails, keep going west, and then it turns back north around the subdivision and connect to Divine Mercy Church. And that's all going to be all one piece of North Central. Yep, it's a big area.
I know that there's a new development going on up there, and their runoff is running into the Shiloh trails. Has that contractor been, or the developer been notified?
I heard that conversation already. I heard building and planning and engineering through a talk that I was sitting there pertaining to, not on our end, no it has not, but I know planning or building, some one of those two departments have contact.
Might get with Mr. Porter.
Yes, he was in the conversation as well. He was in the conversation as well. Okay, outlet, I know we have from there, Nora, and I know we had a big event, and we're gonna have a big event, so. Several, but I'll let Ram just one event, Ram is a special event coordinator, and if you would just,
Where's the?
you got it against the wall. I just found out this week. So they can just, give you those.
I can show you some pictures.
Just some pictures, just to keep you all.
On the side.
Yeah, you're like me, man. So-
Next one right there.
There you go. I didn't know that one either.
And I don't know where to put my music.
Which one?
Which one here?
Right
Over
here.
here.
Naples, can you do it? Do you mind?
Which one?
On the one that says Parkwood.
Oh my God. I just closed. I just closed. Where is it?
He just lost the job.
I don't know where is it.
That's not.
It's right here. That. There's a Parkwood. Oh, one more. There.
All right, the bull run. The running of the bull.
Yes, Spain.
So it's just a quick, just so that I can show you what we did with this one. I was asked to come and present the bull run event and anything that we're gonna do in October. This happened in August the 10th. It was our first ever. It's called Bull Run. It's a biathlon with a dry and mud obstacle course, kind of like a mud run. It was almost 2 miles in distance, and it was basically to have the participants come in and bring in backpacks, school supplies for the community,
That's how they didn't have to pay anything, but they did have to bring something. Let me see, what else did we have there? We also had some haircuts that we did that day for the community at the Cigarroa Recreation Center. This took place in that area where the field is. And we used to submerge the lazy river whole area. Go to the next one. There's some pictures of some of the obstacle courses that we were doing. You can see there's dry ones and then there's also the mud area. That's a councilman. Go to the next one. So there's some facts on the event. There was 225 participants, and they were in different groups: fire department, the local gyms, the Marines, and we have to write down other community friends. About 100 backpacks were collected, along with some school supplies, and then the councilman brought in another 300 himself. So all those were given away after the event. Like I mentioned earlier, there was some haircuts done. A lot of 150 people signed up for those haircuts. For kids. These are some of the ones that we have so far. They are some council members that haven't brought in a date or what they want to do, but we know in the past they have done something, and it includes Councilman Torres. These are some of the ones that we have coming up just for the council members. These will be part of their 6 events that they have to have, or that they have to.
What's a trunk and treat?
Trunk and treat is they use like their cars, and they open up the back, the trunk, and they have different types. They decorate them. They have different types of games, or they can have giveaways, candies and stuff like that. So that's kind of us and coordinating along with the outlet mall.
So you said the council members, remind me, because this was new, they get 6 events per year, but they
Six,
can,
right? 6.
they can all host a harvest festival if they want, so there could be 8 festivals
Yes,
at the
ma'am.
same time.
Yes, ma'am. But it'll be one of their 6.
So
So we're still gonna have
48.
8 Christmases and 8 Halloweens and 8 4th of Julys and
That depends.
8 Thanksgivings.
That depends.
we've never
We've never had,
all of them do it.
Inconsistency, right.
We have had 3, 4, maybe 5. The one that we do have all 8 is the one we do, which is the Parks and Rec one. That one we do all 8 districts, but that's Parks that does it. We ask them if they want to help out with anything, or if they don't, that's fine, we still do the event. Which is the movies in the park one, that we have in August.
July.
Do movies in the park count towards their 6?
No, that's ours.
No.
Like I said, that's Parks
No,
and
no
Rec.
parks, but for that month, but other movies in the park throughout the year, those count as their 6?
It depends. Any event they want to do that has their name on it, they bring in. A lot of times we'll have an idea for an event and they just want to embrace it. And so now they're inviting different people from the community to come in and become sponsors. And so they'll have food areas, food booths, food trucks, what have you, and they'll give away Raspas, and they'll give away popcorn and free hats and free, spin games, for them to win prizes and such. And so now they've just grown it from, we did that with, at Bartlett Park, with Councilwoman Bielma. We were going to do a fun day in the park, and it turned into a huge festival, which was really awesome. The day was fabulous, and there were hundreds and hundreds of people all over that park. We had music and games, and in addition to what we wanted to do, we wanted to do a simple fun day in the park, sports related and such. She turned it into an amazing event, so that would be considered, because this occurred right during that time when council was determining about the 6 events, cap on special events that the council members can have. This wasn't counted, we weren't doing that at the time. And so this, like I said, occurred right during that time, and it was amazing. It was really cool. So that right now would be considered one of her events. Even though we initiated it, once she embraces it, takes it over, and comes in and asks for and donates money to the event, you know, whether it be money for food, hot dogs, because in those events, everything will be free to the public, absolutely free to the public.
So she gets her picture in the flag.
Right.
Since it's on there, then it's her.
What about the kite festival? Would that be considered an event, or has that become an institution from the Parks Department? I mean, it's such a unique annual event.
That would probably be considered the councilman's event, simply because it has always been, unless it's just something that he chooses not to do. I can't see him doing that, because it's fabulous to see. And on that event, you do get thousands of people going, and it's just amazing to see them spread out throughout the entire park. Weather permitted, of course. But we've actually done it right after rain, so, you know, it's,
So like
people
another
come,
one
people come.
would be something would be Rodriguez. He brought it up. You didn't kind of offer it to us. He helped him out.
This concert in the park that we're having this month, which you're talking to the library, that's part of us, that's not Councilman Martinez. That's Park Director Department bringing it in. That will not count as one of the 6, which I'll let Nora May here talk a little bit
Are
about
those
that.
concerts going to compete with the LEA?
No.
Things the LEA
These-
couldn't host even if they wanted to.
No, these are events that Parks is doing, that we are, as a department, are doing, and has nothing to do with the council. We're just gonna start with these, it's a series of events, it's free, and it's at the parks. So we're
Plus,
doing,
The bands aren't at that level.
yeah, they're not
Not
gonna
local
bring,
band.
we're not gonna bring
Okay.
Mana or something like that. No, it's a local band that has, you know, a following, and we just want it to be a family day, a family night where people can, other cities do this. Bring your chair, bring your blanket, come and sit, watch the concert. We'll have some vendors there and just enjoy the night and have, you know, a free concert.
Which is great, because, I mean, I grew up in Laredo and everything was, no hay nada que hacer en Laredo.
Right.
We're changing that.
We're trying to change that.
Changing that.
So our first theme is the 80s. It's a very popular theme, so we're gonna do it on different sides of town. This first one is on the north. It's gonna be at North Central Park behind Concentric. And it's this, the 28th. So we're working on the flyer, so I didn't put it up there because we just got confirmation of the band today. So it's the 80s. And we'll have the 80s this month. The next month will be in Independence Park, and then we'll change the theme to, depending on what area of town we are in. So we're gonna do Tex-Mex kind of style of music on that side of park, of town. So we'll use Independence. It has the stage already there, and it's a really, really cool park. So we want people, we want to attract people to the parks. And so that's one way to do it, with concerts in the park. Then our next one would be in March, where we're gonna do a tribute to Selena kind of thing, because it's Selena's tribute on March. So different themes, different areas of town. So something different, something new. We also have the Family Day Out, which was one of the events that Councilwoman was part, and so this is still one of our events, as outdoor, meaning that we use outdoor sports, and that's kayaks, paddle boats, archery, and bicycles. So one of the parks that does accommodate all of this is Bartlett. So it's called Progreso Park now, we still call it Bartlett. So we do have a flyer for that, and this is a free event. So we have all of this equipment, and everybody signs a waiver, and they can
Is
use
the name
this.
of the park changed?
Well, it's called Progreso Park.
El Progreso Park.
We keep calling it Bartlett, so.
Why was it changed? Is it named after somebody?
Yes, and that was at the council member request.
Who's it named after?
That was Councilwoman, no?
Jovita Hilar is el Progreso Park.
I don't know who Jovita is, I'm sorry. I can definitely ask, but yeah, that was something that it was presented for council, and councilwoman
Well, how long ago was
made
that?
that request.
Was it recent?
No, probably, let's say, 8 months,
Oh.
maybe?
I was corrected on that too when I came on board, and I want to know that.
So there are no naming regulations. Anybody can name anything for any reason at any time.
That goes
They get
through
the
the committee.
There's a committee for that.
There is criteria.
What is the criteria? Doesn't seem like there is.
Like, I think they came up with it last year or something like that. But, you know, I think it's like if you're a donor of the land, if you put in a significant amount of money, I'm just off the top of my head, I'm trying to think, but
Yeah, I
there
mean,
is.
those would be like the two obvious ones,
Right.
but I mean, that was city land, right? Bartlett Park was city land, so I'm just curious.
Don't look at me because I have always said, if you want to name something after something, they better be dead. That's my rule,
Yeah.
but it has. Memorial. Put memorial after it, we're good.
So this event, there's another one in October, and it's gonna be at Indian Sunset Miller Park, which also accommodates, has a small pond, and there we do catch and release, besides the kayaks, the paddle boats, and archery. And it's also a free event, and we have DJ music, and so these events have been growing, and more people keep attending, and so that's 2 of those family days out. And then the concert in October. And then we have a Pioneer Festival in November, which is a bigger event, still in the planning process, and it's gonna be at North Central Park. So this is like a festival, an all-day activity.
We're bringing in, who?
We're bringing reenactment groups that are gonna reenact some of the battles from the Alamo, like the Alamo battle and things like that. Civil War, and so there's also yeah, something different. They also bring a badge. The Texas Rangers will bring their exhibition of weapons or guns that they used in the old days with the badges from the older group of Texas Rangers. Really cool. They go all over the nation with these exhibits and the reenactment groups.
You need to get your webpage up soon, so.
So yeah, so it'll all be there. We'll start promoting this on TV and on Facebook and everything.
Thank you for, you know.
So these are something different events, so people stop saying that there's nothing to do in Laredo. We also.
We're getting all these emailed to our.
Yes. We're also planning some senior games, so those are gonna be in March. Games for the seniors. So senior meaning 55, 62 and over. So there's different sports, different events for the seniors. It's like a competition, like a week, like your games or like Olympic games for the seniors. So those are going to be in March also.
Do you want to share where we mirrored it from?
Texas does the senior games, San Antonio, Austin, and so once we do our competition, the winners can move on to the competitions over in Austin, San Antonio, and if they win there, they can go to the national. So it's big in other cities. We want to give the seniors something else to do. So we're introducing that with several sports and.
Who's doing the archery here for the city?
Praxis.
But I mean. the
Archery?
We have 2 staff instructors
Certified instructors.
that are certified. And getting ready to be certified a little higher so they can turn around and certify other people.
So they're Parks employees.
Yes, ma'am. We had to
I
have them
know,
go through a certification process.
I know Chuck Gonzalez at Nixon,
Yeah.
really into
Yeah.
archery.
I just met him. He's really good. He's competed.
Yeah.
His son's competed internationally.
Our archery is more recreational type, but we do have the equipment, and it's pretty modern equipment. We also this weekend, just to mention that we also have a bike certification this weekend for staff and for advocates of, from Bike Laredo and other advocates of bicycling. So that's really good. We'll have more people certified to teach safety on bikes and things like that, and how to ride a bike and all that. That's going to be held this weekend at one of our centers, at Hunt's Recreation Center. So, that's it.
That's all on our end. Any questions?
Any questions?
Yeah, I have one question. Those blue scooters that are out there, are they allowed on city parks?
They are in our city.
They are in the city parks? Are we having issues with that?
Yes. I heard that when I was jogging.
That's an issue.
Yeah, and I know that's management, and they're looking into that, you know. unfortunately, I was in Austin this past week, and oh my God, we're not even at that level. There's only scooter parks everywhere, you know, it's all whole areas. I mean, thrown in the middle of the street, the whole UT campus is full of, just, you have to like literally like walking over those things crossing the street.
Corpus
It was
Christi,
amazing.
have you seen Corpus Christi?
Yeah, I've
It's
seen
like
Corpus
10
Christi.
companies.
But it was,
So
but that's,
what's the rule, what's our ordinance? They're allowed, that period.
that's it, yeah. And I know it's gonna be on a trial basis, for 6 months, I think I want to say, Marty, and they were gonna revisit again, and I know the traffic department and city manager's office has been kind of discussing that as well. But in North Central and all that, you see them everywhere, you know, but once I saw Austin, you know, you can't, we're not even close to that.
For the ordinance, they are allowed in some
Yes,
parks.
yes.
One quick question, I don't know if the park has to do anything with it. Putting up the flags at the, like the American flag, whatever, at the park, is that the responsibility of the park department or somebody else?
Which depends if it's a parks area or park.
I'm talking about Bruni Plaza.
Bruni Plaza, no.
There's 2 flagpoles, one of each end, that have never seen use. You know, I just wonder, you
No,
know.
I think the building department that's in charge of that, where the building area is, they're responsible for putting up those flags.
Bruni Plaza está aquí.
Where the libraries,
Yes, across from McDonald's.
Well, when the city blew the plaza by building the library,
Right,
but it used to be a very beautiful plaza.
right. That's all on our end. If you have any questions or.
I wanted to bring something up. I asked Berman, and he said I needed to bring it to the committee. In front of the main library, there are these planting plots, and they're always, it's kind of like a cycle. Something gets planted there, and then it gets a lot of weeds, and then it gets taken out. And I thought it'd be really nice to put butterfly gardens in those plots. And I don't know who would do that, but I know you guys had done some butterfly gardens around the place, so I thought if butterfly-friendly plants could be planted there, it'd be nice, and then it wouldn't necessarily have to be mowed or weeded. It would just be a little wild, and a little sign could be posted there so everyone knows it's supposed to look
On
wild.
the corner of Carlton and McPherson?
When you're walking in the main library,
Oh, okay, I'm walking in, okay.
and you know, you have the pathway, the bricks of the donors, and then you have some just cutouts, just dirt cutouts. And last time I was there, about a week ago, they were empty. And so I thought it'd be nice to put butterfly plants there.
That's something that we need to talk to the
the
library.
library is no longer under the.
No, it's not part of the parks.
Okay, it's separate.
Yes,
Is it its own thing?
It's its own department.
it's its own department.
And isn't Mr. Romo on the library?
Yes, I think he's in the
Committee.
board.
Okay.
And I those they have their maintenance on a contract. The regular maintenance on
Okay.
the mowing.
Okay. Because those plots often look terrible, and then they get stripped, and then something more gets planted, but then nobody ever actually weeds it, and then it gets terrible again, and then they get stripped. So, okay, all right, I'll bring it up to parks. Or, sorry, to library, library.
If I may, Chair, would the staff have anything available for us next meeting on how to go over the summer with vandalism stuff? I know, I've always been adamant on trying to get education out there for all these vandals and stuff. I took a tour of the Real Crime Center over at the police headquarters right before it was out announced. We were doing a project with Laredo Police. A lot of the cameras that it's very effective that I got to see a lot of the city cameras in the parks, and that was very effective. How was it this year with the vandalism, and if y'all would be able to be kind enough to provide something to us on what and then what would be the plan moving forward? Of course, because I know we always have budget for so much money, and has it gone worse or is it getting better?
we'll put it in the agenda.
Thanks.
Yeah, piggybacking on that, I'd be interested to know, how many people were actually caught because their photo was taken? How many were recognizable? Or are the cameras there mostly as a deterrent, but not really have the ability to catch people?
As of what I saw over like at the the live crime center, they're good quality cameras and it's always manned. Like there's always individuals there. It's always staff. So anything that they were giving us an example where that day some soccer game was going on or practice at Father McNoby Park. So they were able to zoom in up until vehicles, up until, so it's gotten better. It's gotten
In
better.
real time,
Yeah.
say, hey, this park is being vandalized
Yes.
as we speak.
Yes.
Not so much to take pictures and then
Yes.
go back later.
Yeah, it's real time, so I think eventually we'd have to go and see probably a budget where we can add cameras to those parks
That they don't have.
that they don't have those cameras, because the ability is gonna be there, and as of what I heard in the long term, they also wanna get involved into other, other facilities with cameras, but of course we can start with parks and
Sure.
can put security on each one, but I mean, at least the camera presence will be there.
We'll put it.
Are there any items for the next meeting?
That one for vandalism. Right, the vandalism report.
And camera.
Usually we
If
can.
you all think of anything, we're glad to bring it up, and we will put it on the agenda for next meeting. Next meeting is scheduled, Gloria, for October.
Would you happen to have design plans of the baseball complex?
Yes, I'll bring it with me. You wanna put it in here?
The 9th of October.
October 9th. Put their complex design for sports complex.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned.
Thank you all for being here. There is some sandwiches and dinner for you all that. Wondering.
That Gloria prepared.
We were laughing because it said all these activities, I was like, for seniors, for the kids.
One of the kids did it, they did seven. I'm really just being over, but.
The children.
What's the difference?
No, on the sandwiches, I think.